Hello everyone, it's Living Online here for Server.pro, and today I'll be showing you the basics of Java server management. Firstly, you'll have to create a Minecraft server if you don't already have one. To do that, you need to be on the Server.pro homepage. There you'll see Create Server and a bunch of plans you can choose from below. On the first tab, there's the classic servers you can pick from. On the second tab, there's the VPS servers you can pick from. In today's video, I'll just be quickly making a classic server. To do that, you simply select a plan. Then, if you scroll down, you can select a location where your server will be hosted. Here, you don't have to click on the country you're currently in. With some plans, you have limited options, so just select the country closest to you. If you scroll down once more, you'll be in the configuration section. At the top, you need to select the game you want on your server. For this video, I'll be selecting Java Edition. Under the type drop-down list, I'll be leaving it at vanilla, and then on the version option, I'll be selecting the most recent version. Finally, under hostname, you can type in what you want your server to be named. After that's done, you can also select a suffix. There's a few you can pick from here as well. Once you're done with everything, you can continue to the payment section, and that's it, you've got a server. If at any point you want to upgrade your plan or make changes to your server, all you have to do is head to the My Server section and click on Configuration. There you can cancel the plan or change the plan completely. You can also change the location your server is hosted in, as well as adding new users to the access list of your server. Now that you have a server, I can show you how to manage it. Firstly, you'll want to head to the My Servers page. Then you want to click on the Control Panel tab of your server. That'll head you into the server's dashboard where you can access your server details. At the top, you'll be able to change the game on your server and the version if you wish to do so. If you ever want to reset your server as well, you can do so by pressing yes on Remove Files and then clicking Reinstall. Back on your dashboard, you can change your host name. The host name is what you'll be using to join your server. Scrolling down, there are some basic server properties you can adjust. For example, the game mode, difficulty, and PvP. You can also change the max amount of players allowed on the server. If you make any changes here, make sure to save them to ensure they take effect. Now, below the Server Details tab on the left, there is also an Advanced Settings tab. Here's where you'll be able to change the server's Java version, the server jar, the server time zone, and be able to access open ports. Now that you've seen the basic server settings on the dashboard, we can move on to the Files section. Here's where you'll be able to drag in worlds you want to use on your server, drag and drop mod or plugin files, and also data packs. If you want to enable a data pack on your server, simply press on the world folder, then the data packs folder, and finally drag in the data pack file you want in there. After, you just need to restart your server or boot it up for the changes to take effect. If you want to use a different world save on your server, you can also do so by dragging that save in. Then you delete the old world save and copy the name of the save you dragged in. Lastly, what you'll have to do to make sure the server has that world show up when you enter it is open up the server.properties file. Find the line saying level name and then paste the text you copied from before. Make sure you press save file and restart your server to ensure the changes take effect. And boom, your server has your world save installed. Something else you can do in the Files section is access the banned players list. There you can see who is banned on your server, and you can also add new usernames to have the ban effect. Additionally, you can also access the whitelisted players list. There you'll be able to see all players whitelisted and be able to write in new usernames on the whitelist. Another thing you can do is drag in different server jars for your server to use. After you've done that, restart your server, and once the server is booted up, you need to head to the Advanced Settings tab shown earlier. Under the server jar heading, you'll then be able to select the custom jar you just downloaded. All you have to do is then save changes and restart your server once more. There are so many more things you can do with the Files section for your server, but we'll be moving on to features you can adjust using the Console tab. The console allows you to type out commands to the server and its players, as well as providing detailed information relating to the server's actions. If there's any server errors, they'll show up here, so the console is a great method of troubleshooting if you ever have any problems running your server. Moving on, the console is another method on how you can enable the whitelist on your server. You can also add new players to the server whitelist as well as removing them. As well as adjusting the whitelist, you can also adjust the ban list here using similar commands. For the most part, you can type in a lot of server setting commands here as they'll work. For example, you can adjust the difficulty here. You know the commands take an effect when you get a response like this. You can also change specific players' game modes, turn online mode on or off, and many other commands. The Players tab on your server is pretty simple. On the Online section, you'll be able to see what players are currently online. On the Operators section, you can add players as operators on your server. You can also remove players if you so wish. The Players tab is yet another way of adding and removing players to the whitelist. To enable the whitelist if you haven't already using commands, you can do so by pressing enabled. Then you can type in the username of any player you want to whitelist, or you can also remove them. On the last tab there, you can do the same for the ban list. You can ban players and type in the reason for banning if you wish to do so. If you want a ban to be more extreme, you can also IP ban a player. Another tab you'll see on your server is the Plugins tab. This is where you'll be able to browse and install plugins. To be able to view this tab, you'll need to have Spigot, Graph Bucket or Cauldron installed on your server. We've actually made a more in-depth tutorial on how to install plugins on your server, so we'll leave the link to that in the description. Since we're going over the basic server management features, I'll be moving on to the Scheduler tab. This feature allows you to run commands on your server like restarting your server or saying something on your server at any time without you having to be there. For example, on the command section, I'll type in, say hey, it's Morbin time. Then under execution times, you want to set the time you want the command to be ran. You can add multiple times by pressing add. You'll be able to see at what times the command will be ran at the bottom there. After that, you'll see the execution days. You simply select the days you want the command to be ran on. Here I'll be selecting Monday and Tuesday. Lastly, I'll press the Create Task button. The task will be created and you'll see it on the right under Scheduled Tasks. You can create as many tasks as you want here. Under the Schedules tab, you'll see there is also an Automatic Restart tab. On that tab, you'll be able to set a task that will automatically restart your server at any given time. For example, I'll click 8 PM for the restart time and I'll select the restart days to all days. I'll also be selecting yes on restart if stopped, so just in case my server is turned off at the time of restart that it turns back on. Finally, I'll press Enable Automatic Restart and you'll know everything is working if you see this pop up in the corner. Later on, if you want to adjust the automatic restart times or disable the restarts completely, you just have to return to this tab. The Worlds tab is pretty self-explanatory. Here you can just create a new world. At the top you can type in your world name, then you can select your world type and decide if you want generated structures. Afterwards, you have the option of selecting a seed for your world, but you can also leave it blank for a random seed. On the Upload Datapacks option, you can select multiple datapacks to add to your new world as well. Once you're done customizing your new world, you just have to press Create World and wait for the server to upload the files. When the files have been uploaded, you can head to the Files tab to ensure your world is there. If you see a folder with the name you selected and the datapacks inside, then the world creation process worked successfully. Next we have the Server Page tab. This tab lets you create a server page for your server by simply pressing yes. Automatically, the other options will be enabled, such as showing online players and accepting donations. This is what the server page will look like. In configuration, you have the option of typing in a message, inserting an image, video, and much more. This is what that would look like on the server page. To access this server page, you just have to click on your server's hostname and it'll open a page like this up. Since you can accept donations from other people on this server page, you can also copy the link at the top and share it with anyone you'd like. The FTP page is another way to access your server files. In order to upload files, you'll need to use a FTP client such as FileZilla. All you have to do is copy the hostname onto the software. Then copy the user, password, and port too. After that's done, press Quick Connect and you'll be able to access your server's files remotely. Alternatively, if you're on Windows, you can use the built-in client by copying the link at the address bar of any folder. However, the File Manager allows you to access and upload files too, as mentioned earlier, so that tab should be sufficient. MySQL is a database that can be used by mods and plugins. To enable, simply press Enabled. Then you should restart your server for the necessary changes to be made. In the Files section, you'll see there's a MySQL folder. Inside that folder, you'll be able to access the MySQL database folder already made by the server. That's called Server.pro_db. If you want, you can also create and edit your own databases. For that though, you'll need to use a MySQL client such as MySQL Workbench. It's also important to note that your server needs to be running for your MySQL server to be accessible. The Firewall page is an external UDP-only firewall. To add a rule, all you have to do is select the protocol and the port and add rule. It takes around 1 to 2 minutes for that rule to take effect. You'll know the rule is in effect if its state is active. If at any point you want to remove a rule, all you have to do is click delete. Finally, if you disable the firewall, all traffic will be accepted. Next, the backups page is very important. Now, automatic backups of your server are taken daily and stored for 3 days. If an issue occurs and you want to use a previous backup, simply press Restore Backup. This is what should happen when your backup is being restored. Back on the Backups tab, you can also create a manual backup at any time by pressing the Create Manual Backup button. That will overwrite the latest backup. Another way you can back up your files can also be by downloading them in the Files section. You just simply select all and press Download. However, the Backups tab is way more simple and easily accessible. The error logs page will show a list of events that cause the server to crash. This way it's easy to target a problem and fix server issues. If the list is empty, then everything is fine. However, sometimes there are other reasons causing a server crash that won't appear on this list. In case of such an incident, you can access more logs in the Files tab. All you have to do is open the logs folder and boom, all the files are in there. Last but not least, we have the Reinstall tab. The Reinstall tab allows you to delete most files relating to your server so you can start fresh. Removing files is recommended when changing the server game or server type. This is because issues can occur if leftover files aren't compatible with the new install. All you have to do to reinstall your server is select the game you want to change the server to, select the type, and the version. Lastly, you can choose whether to remove files or not. As mentioned, we recommend removing to ensure the new install goes smoothly. And it's as simple as that. You just press reinstall and wait for the server to be booted back up. The files that are removed are all server files, MySQL database and settings, and FTP passwords. Backups, server page settings, tasks, server time zone, and error logs will not be reset. Well, that's it for this video. If you have any more questions, make sure to leave them down below, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to see more from our channel. Thank you for watching!